What's up, guys? Welcome back to Trap House Garage. We're back again with the Dakota. We got everything back together. Had a little timing issue, I guess you could call it. Thought we got it figured out. Took the truck for a drive, and it was popping and carrying on really bad. Swapped every sensor out on the entire engine. Messed with the timing some more. New crank sensor, new cam sensor. Couldn't figure out what was going on. So, we did a compression test. Surprisingly, this little motor, after having so much nitrous sprayed through it, had great compression. What was it? Pretty much 140 to 150, basically, on all of them, which is really good. But, cylinder number 5 had nothing. Zero. I tried putting some oil in the cylinder, and it still wouldn't come up, didn't do anything. So that kind of told us that it was a head problem and not a ring problem, most likely. Kind of debated what we wanted to do with this thing, and me and Lance over here decided we were just going to rip the head off of it tonight. So that's what we did, and found some interesting things going on. Let me spin the camera around here, and I'll show you guys what's going on. It'll kind of be hard to tell. You can see it, but you can't really see how bad it is. The valve on number 5 here, the intake valve, definitely did hit. As you can see, it's got a nice lip on it. I'm not very familiar with this platform, so when we first pulled it, Lance noticed it, and I assumed it was a valve relief because number 1 down in here, it's kind of hard to see, you can barely see it there, has a smaller one. So I assumed it was a valve relief, but as we cleaned all the antifreeze and grime out, noticed that number 3 and number 7 back there do not have that. So we tore the intake valve out from number 5, and it'll be kind of hard. It's not going to be real easy to see here, but as I spin this, you can tell that the end of the valve is bent, which would explain why we had no compression on that cylinder, because it was basically the end of the valve was sitting in there cockeyed and allowing the compression to escape out it. It was never fully closing. So hopefully that's the issue for sure, which I'm assuming it is that cylinder was dead, because the motor kind of had, I would explain it as like a knock. Yeah, it wasn't like a lower end knock, but if you put your hand on the engine, you could feel it every time it got to that cylinder on the firing order, it would shake the motor. So that should be what it is. It didn't take real long to buzz this head off. Well, don't worry, we're going to take the other one off and replace both, obviously. But head gasket was good, which is kind of surprising too. I had my doubts about that. Gasket looked great. There was nothing burn out between any of the cylinders or anything like that. So, I guess that's next on the to-do list now. We thought the truck was done and ready to go racing this weekend, but I guess that's not going to happen. So, we are going to wait for Rodney. He's got to buy some gaskets, obviously. And we're going to slam it back together, and everything should be good then. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, just kind of bored tonight. He's not even here. And decided to tear it apart and go from there. But once he gets everything, I'm assuming probably Saturday, or I don't know, whenever he decides to get stuff, we'll start getting it thrown back together, maybe Thursday night, something like that. And we'll get it back together, and hopefully after that it's like great and brand new. Hopefully it has no more miss, no more ticking sound, nothing weird going on. And then, depending when he gets everything over here to get it back together, maybe we can get it out this Saturday. But I doubt it. Who knows? We'll see.
That's if we do the work.
Yeah, we'll probably do the work because we'll be bored, and maybe it'll be running by Saturday. Ain't too much to do. Pop the other head off, throw some new gaskets on it, put it all back together. It's not that bad. But, yeah. Just wanted to start the video process of this, and we'll be back as soon as we have an update here. Alright, so we got the other head off. This one don't look too bad. Number 8 has a little mark, kind of like number 1 did on the driver's side. So everything seems alright. We got another set of heads, because as I said in the past, Rodney has Mopar parts everywhere. So we got another set of heads that he's gasket matching right now. So he's going to go ahead and gasket match that, gasket match the intake while it's off, and pretty much slam it back together. And hope for the best this go around. But we'll be back in a little bit with an update, show you what exactly he's doing to the heads and stuff like that, and we'll go from there. A little update. Everybody's gone now. I'm about to go in and crash. It's pretty late. But Rodney got one head fairly close to being done, being gasket matched. As you can see where the marker is, he does still have a little bit of work to do on this one, but it's not taking too long. And then we still have that head to do, plus the intake over there. The shop is an absolute mess. But I've got the block cleaned up. Everything looks okay. As I said, I've got everything wiped down with oil right now so it doesn't rust. Yeah, as you can see, everything's pretty oily, but I dumped quite a bit of oil all over everything just to kind of protect it. For the time being, we should have everything slapped together. Probably, well, it'll probably be the next video. I might end this one out here and pick up again for another video where we'll throw everything back together and fire it up in that video, because otherwise this video will probably be really long and kind of drawn out. So I'll probably end this one. This will probably be the last segment of this video, and I'll probably get this uploaded tomorrow. I know I've been slacking a little bit, but projects have kind of been few and far between except for this thing. And yeah, at this point, kind of a love-hate relationship. We didn't know that we were going to do all that work, putting a new intake and stuff on it, to find out that it was hurt. But like I said, you know, which it nicked a valve hit cylinder 8, 1, and 5. 5 being the worst. 1 and 8 are very minor. I cleaned them all up, so there's no high spots or anything, which it should be perfectly fine. Shouldn't really cause any kind of issue. As you can see, that's the worst one. But other than that, it should go back together smoothly, and hopefully everything will be alright, and it'll be back running here shortly. Still trying to get it done for this weekend. We'll see how that goes. All the nitrous stuff is wired up now. Like I said, everything's a mess. We have parts scattered everywhere. But the nitrous wiring, the little switch panel will be going in his ashtray. We do have the button wired up to the shifter now, because this is a 5-speed truck. Yeah, trying to do things a little more right this time. Last time it was kind of just thrown together, and it worked until it didn't work. You know, what we're assuming did happen was, if you follow the channel for any amount of time, you've seen the introduction to this thing, to where last race of the season, he had a nitrous backfire, which we did put it back together, and he continued to race the whole rest of the night. But apparently after doing a compression test, it seems as if he raced the whole rest of the night on 7 cylinders, which is actually kind of surprising, because the truck really it wasn't noticeably down on power. It seemed fine until we tore it apart and put it back together with a new intake on it, and then for whatever reason, the little tune-up we did, it started having kind of a knock, and that's when we did a compression test and figured out that cylinder 5 was hurt. And yeah, so like I said, what we assume happened was he tried to rev it a little high that day. It ended up tapping the rev limiter, and I'm assuming it floated the valves just enough that they did come in contact. Which, like I said, cylinders 1 and 8, the compression test was great on them. Let me lift this up here. Cylinder 1 was 140 and 8 was 140, so we really had no issues there. it was just cylinder 5, which the valve, like I showed you guys, from that cylinder that we pulled out of the heads is bent. So that explains why it was losing compression. It wasn't sealing. We're not gonna, which I think I already said this, but we're not gonna throw new valves and all that BS back in those heads. He had another set of factory heads off another one of his engines laying around, so he yanked those, and now those are the ones that he's cleaning up. And that motor did run. Still has a lot of cleaning to do, obviously. It's not clean, but that engine did run with no issues, so we know that one's okay. So we're going to slam those heads back on it and call it good. And like I said, hopefully we'll have it done at the very latest, I would assume Saturday. But should be done by then, be able to go out and test it out a little bit and play and see how things go. But if we've learned anything from this, it's don't float the valves, especially while you're spraying a little bit of nitrous to it. It seems to not end well, but this thing doesn't give up. The compression results were actually better than we thought. We had no idea, what was done to this engine, how worn out it was. We assumed it was super worn out, but the compression test actually showed us otherwise, which is why we're going to salvage this one now. But yeah, I don't want to keep rambling on and on. Like I said, it's getting late. I'm about to go in and crash. Just wanted to end this video out here, show everybody what we got done. And then in the next one, it will be going back together, and we will fire it up and cross our fingers, hope for the best. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.